They call it Highway 212. The locals just say the Frozen Road. It cuts across eastern Montana, where wind howls through the plains and snow piles high enough to swallow a car. Truckers use it in winter only when desperate, when the other routes are worse. That stretch has seen more accidents than anyone can count. Cars found empty, engines running, doors wide open. Sometimes the drivers show up days later, wandering through fields of snow, mumbling about the woman in the road. Last February, Ethan Cole didn't believe any of that. He was hauling freight from Billings to Rapid City, trying to beat a storm warning. The dispatcher told him to take 212. Shortest route, he said. Ethan had driven through blizzards before. He thought this would be no different. The sky turned gray long before sundown. By the time he reached the Powder River Bridge, the world was white. His wipers scraped frozen sleet off the windshield, but it was like staring into milk. No landmarks, no horizon, just the hum of his tires and that endless blinding snow. Then he saw her, a figure in the headlights, a woman, standing dead center in the lane, wearing a thin blue dress that didn't belong in February. He slammed the brakes, the rig fishtailing as he fought to stop. When the truck skidded to a halt, she was gone. No footprints, no movement, nothing but snow blowing across the asphalt. Ethan's pulse hammered. "Probably my eyes," he muttered, shifting back into gear, but he couldn't shake the chill crawling up his neck. The CB radio hissed with static. Then a man's voice broke through, faint, distant. "Keep driving. Don't stop. She follows the heat." Ethan froze, staring at the radio. "Who is this?" he asked. No reply, just static. He drove another 5 miles, then noticed something in the side mirror. A dark smudge on the white road behind him. It grew larger, closer. For a moment, he thought it was another car, but the shape wasn't right. It moved wrong, too fast. He pressed harder on the accelerator. The smudge stayed with him, gliding over the snow like it wasn't touching the ground. Then came a knock, soft but distinct, on the back of the cab. 1, 2, 3 taps. Ethan's hands trembled on the wheel. He pulled over near an old rest stop, a diner half buried in drifts, long abandoned. The neon sign still clung to life, flickering open, though the windows were boarded up. He grabbed his flashlight and stepped into the storm, boots crunching ice. Snowflakes swirled in his beam like ash. "Hello?" he called out. No answer. He circled the truck, light sweeping across chrome and snow. The wind howled through the empty highway. Then he saw something that made his stomach drop. Handprints pressed into the frost on the back door. Small, delicate hands, bare. He climbed back inside and locked the doors, forcing his breath to slow. The radio crackled again, this time whispering his name. Ethan. Drawn out, almost kind. Then silence. By now the storm was a white curtain. He couldn't see more than a few feet ahead, but he needed to keep moving. He thought of his wife waiting in Rapid City, the way she hated when he drove at night. "Don't stop for anyone," she'd said. He eased back onto the road. Hours passed. He wasn't sure how many. Every mile felt longer than the last. Then in the corner of his eye, he saw movement in the passenger mirror. A woman's reflection, pale skin, dark hair plastered with snow. Eyes that didn't blink. She sat beside him, her lips blue, frost glittering on her cheeks. Ethan screamed and jerked the wheel. The truck veered, tires screeching on black ice. When he came to, the rig was tilted in a snowbank, engine dead. His breath fogged the cab. The passenger seat was empty again. He fumbled for his phone, no signal. The temperature gauge read -21. He wrapped himself in a blanket and tried to wait it out. Hours bled together. Sometimes he heard tapping on the glass, faint laughter, the shuffle of footsteps in the snow. Once, he thought he saw her face pressed against the windshield, fog blooming around her breath. By morning, the truck's battery was dead. He stepped out into the quiet, the air biting deep. The highway was empty, no tracks, no lights, only the wind whispering across the plain. They found Ethan's rig 3 days later, half buried near the Powder River stretch. His logbook ended at 11:47 p.m. The last entry read, "She's in the mirror." No footprints led away from the truck. No sign of struggle. Just the driver's door wide open and a single blue ribbon frozen to the step. Locals still talk about him at the gas station in Broadus. Every winter, another driver swears they see the same woman, a figure standing in the snow, pale and waiting, her dress fluttering in a wind that never stops. They say she's looking for warmth, for anyone who'll stop long enough to open their door. If you ever find yourself on Highway 212 in the dead of winter and you see a woman by the roadside, keep driving.